mostly novice gardener. Last year it did not go very well. I got my fence up. This little trick of the trade. Peppers are very delicate. And then I'll show you what's next. Hey everybody, it's Val. I wanted to show you what I'm doing today. I'm finally getting into my gardening project for the year. I always look forward to getting into gardening. I am what I would consider a mostly novice gardener, even though I've tried gardening for several years. I rely a lot on asking questions to Granddad. And one of the things that I do differently since moving here is I'm working on container gardening, and last year it did not go very well, so I have moved my garden from the front of the house to the back of the house so it can get morning sun. And I'm gonna have to do it in stages. So first of all, I had to do a lot of raking. So yesterday I raked all of that from the back of the house, and then I used this little lawn cart to tote my containers from the front yard. Bad Daddy helped me get the big ones that I couldn't get, that have the most dirt in them. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dump out some of the dirt that's already in here into the lawn cart, and I'm going to add some fresh soil mixture that I bought from the garden center. I've got two kinds. One kind is specific to raised bed gardening, and the other is specific to planting in the ground. I'm going to plant a couple things in the ground, but most everything else in the containers. So the other thing that we've got to do is we have to build a fence. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be enough to discourage the puppies from running through the garden area and messing things up. And so today what I'm going to do is work on the dirt. I don't have the fencing I need, but I hope to be able to maybe do the fencing and the plants tomorrow. But I'll keep all this in one video, so stay tuned. Okay, it's the next day. I wanted to catch you up on what I've done. So I've kind of got the containers where I want them, at least for now, I think, where I want them. I've mixed up the new soil that's for container gardening with some of the soil that was left over from last year. And I've filled that with all the containers except for this one. Obviously, the oregano is completely happy just like it is. I have realized I need more space than I originally planned, so I'm going to take down this partial part of a fence that I had put up and move it. And I got some new fencing and posts, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. And also, while I was situating my pots, I discovered that this dirt is actually, the ground is actually good soil. There's worms in it, so I'm going to plant some stuff directly into the ground. Okay, it's time for an update. I got my fence up. Let me show you. So it goes behind that bush to kind of discourage any puppies from trying to squeeze through. And I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm going to do a gate probably right up here in that section, but I'm going to rework it. It's kind of a mess at the moment, but anyway, I've got two there because one will open up for a gate. So I'm ready to put my plants in my pots. Okay, I wanted to show you this little trick of the trade. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but if you really look through the plants when you're buying them, you can sometimes find like 2 for 1. You see that extra little tomato in there? Now in this tomato, there are, that I could see, 1, 2, 3, 4 little seedlings in there. In this one, there are 2. So I was able to find a cucumber with 2 in it, and basil with 2 in it, and squash with 3. So it's zucchini squash. So when I plant these, I'm going to divide them up. I did get multiple peppers too, but peppers are very delicate, so I might not successfully split these, but there are 2 in this one, 2 in this one. So we'll have to see if I might not be successful with those, but I'll try. All right, so basil makes a good companion plant for tomatoes. And I wasn't able to separate these 2 that came in the same pot. I was afraid if I kept trying it would kill both of them, so I stopped. I was able to separate this tomato from this little one that was at the base of it. So I'm going to put this one in a smaller pot for now, and if it does okay, then I'll transplant it into the ground. So on to this one. This one has multiple in there, so let's see what I can do with that one. Okay, I want to show you where I got to. It is 3 in the afternoon and I'm about to be done for today. So since I last recorded, I got all my plants in. And I brought in leaves to put between all the plants and stuff. I moved them out of the way for, I wanted the pots to sit directly on the ground and not the leaves, because the roots in these cloth pots, the roots from the plants will go through the cloth into the ground. So I wanted them to be directly on the ground. But I added the leaves back to help control erosion and muddiness, and also it's good for the ground. So I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to plant some more stuff directly in the ground, but not today. Rosemary, thyme, oregano, zucchini squash, jalapeno pepper, other pepper, cubanelle pepper, it's a sweet pepper. I have my best looking tomatoes up here in the big pots, and then the extra ones I put down here. So I've got this is a husky cherry, and so that one is also a husky cherry. This is a Rutgers heirloom tomato, and that's what both of those are. I put basil here with this tomato. I put a jalapeno pepper there with that tomato. This is also a Rutgers better bush. And back here I have 3 cucumbers. And also in these first 3 tomato pots, I have added 2 bush bean seeds to each pot. I think at least 1 will come up in each pot, maybe 2. And if the 2 does, I'm going to probably leave them and see if they do okay. So then that's the companion planting for all of the tomatoes. Then I'm going to plant some more bush beans here in the ground. And I don't know what else I'm going to plant in the ground yet. Probably some Swiss chard. I'm going to look through my seeds and see what I have and decide. I'm going to dig up these iris and move them. If you don't have iris, let me just tell you, the iris are hard to get rid of. They're beautiful. These are heirloom iris from my great-grandmother, and they have giant blossoms or blooms, flowers. Hey, and anyway, all you got to do is dig up the root. You can even cut off the top, the green parts, just plant the roots somewhere else, and they'll come back. So I'm going to do that. Are you ready to go in? Okay. Hey everybody, it's been a whole week, and we missed some planting days because we had rain for several days, and I am now going to get around to planting a few more bush beans. Here's how everything's looking so far. Everything seems to be doing fairly well. Those need a little bit of water. Everything has survived, although a few things are looking a little sad. Like this tomato is very wilty but not dead, and this pepper plant looks like it's begging for some help. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with everything, so I'm going to plant these beans, water the garden, and then I'll show you what's next. Here are where we put the beans. There's one there, and there's 3 there. Okay, so in my next gardening video, I'm going to be getting this area ready for a garden. Originally, I wasn't going to plant anything out here, but I had such a good time in the back garden that I wanted to do a little bit more. This spot doesn't get full sun all day. It probably just gets, I don't know, a few hours. So I'm going to plant some things here that grow well in the shade or in partial shade. Probably things like some beets, turnip greens, Swiss chard. What's the other word for green onions?
Scallions.
Scallions, whatever. Green onions, scallions. And we'll see what else. It depends on how much of it's appropriate for planting in. But anyway, stay tuned. We'll be doing that soon. And thanks for watching us do stuff around the house, getting ready for summer.